A lot of times the dealership don't disclose all of the information on the vehicle to you. The dealership's number one goal is to have you buy that car and for them to make as much money. Most of the dealerships are not going to see you again for another 4 or 5 years. The average person buys a car every 4 to 5 years. So they know if they sell you that car, you're not going to come back to them next week. So the number one goal for them is to get that car out the door. So a lot of things are not disclosed to you 100%. One thing that's not disclosed to you is the condition of the vehicle. A lot of times you look at the Carfax of the vehicle. The Carfax may say that the car is in good condition, but it doesn't necessarily mean that Carfax is at good condition. When you buy a car through the auction, it goes through a full vehicle inspection, and they inspect the vehicle outside of what the Carfax says. So say the Carfax says 1 owner, no accident, and they inspect the vehicle and they find that the car has been involved in an accident. They will notify us and let us know that the car has been involved in an accident, and that's some of the things that the dealership will not tell you. A lot of things the dealership won't tell you is they won't tell you the true value of the vehicle. They won't tell you how much they paid for the vehicle. When you purchase a car through Auto Auction Advisors, we give you the information of how much we paid for the vehicle. You're truly able to buy that vehicle at the wholesale price that is paid for from the auction. Most of the dealerships will mark up a car 20, 30, 40, sometimes 50% of what they pay for the vehicle. That's how they make their money. They have a lot of overhead, a lot of real estate. Most of the managers wear Rolexes. You pay for those Rolexes that they make. We try to purchase those vehicles for you at the wholesale price, saving you as much money as possible. Another thing that they won't give you the right amount of money on your trade. Your trade-in is a way that the dealerships make a lot of money, and those trade-ins, they won't give you the true value. So a lot of times when you're negotiating a deal at the dealership, you don't want to tell them you have a trade. After you do your research and you find out what your trade is done, after you negotiate the deal, then you may want to tell them you may have a car you want to sell, depending on how much they're willing to give you for that vehicle. Most of the time when you go to a car dealership, the average time frame, as they say right now, is between 3 and 6 hours. Sometimes it falls in the middle. The reason why you're there so long is because when you actually purchase the car and you settle on the price, to the dealership the work now starts. They take you into a finance room, they call it the box, and they have a lot of things that they want to sell you. If you're able to negotiate the best possible price on the vehicle, when they take you inside of that box, they're going to try to make as much money from you. One of the things that they may sell you is they may sell you a higher interest rate than what the bank is giving you. So say the bank is giving you a 5% interest rate. They're going to tell you it's a 7% interest rate. Those extra 2 points, that's how they make their profit. So you may say, oh, I don't want a 7. They'll say, okay, well, let's see if we can get it down to a 6.5. So those interest rates is called points, and that's how the dealerships make their money. Also, they can offer you different types of warranty. Some warranties are good, some warranties you don't need. So those are another way for them to make money. Also, they offer you gap insurance. Gap insurance is sometimes good and sometimes not. You're not going to know when is a case where it's good to buy and when it's not good to buy. Those are some of the things that they're going to sell you. Gap insurance costs the dealership maybe a couple $100. Sometimes they sell it for $1,000 or $1,000 plus. That's another way for them to make money. There's a lot of ways where the dealership is going to make money. So sometimes the customer thinks, oh, I negotiated the best price on the car. That's just half the battle. There's other fees and other document prep and other stamps and other paperwork fees that they charge you that you think are standard fees, which is not necessary to be charged to you. So that's where we try to educate you and give you that information. When you go to the dealership, it's a pretty long process. They do try to keep you there as long as possible. They tell you that they want to get you out of there as soon as possible. But there is a process where they show you the numbers and they say, okay, let me go back to the manager. And a lot of times, the salesperson knows the numbers. They're not really going back to the manager. They go back to the manager's desk and they'll pause and then they'll come back and say, my manager says, that's the best price. And then you say, well, no, you don't want the price. And you'll say, well, let me think about it. They say, oh, hold on, let me go back to the manager. Don't leave. So there's just a TO process, a back and forth, to try to get as much money out of you and actually wear you out. Try to make sure that you're exhausted. And sometimes people get frustrated because they've been there so long. They don't want to go to another dealer and do it all over again. So they say, okay, just go ahead and give me the car. So there's different tactics and strategies that they use. Another strategy that the dealerships are using right now is they post the vehicle online at the lowest possible price. So you go in there and you say, oh wow, that's a really great price. And you say, give me that car. 9 times out of 10, the car that they post online is not there. It's a very old-fashioned tactic, switch and bait. You bait the customer in, you get them in on a sale price or a hook, and when they get there, you try to get them another car. So it's a numbers game. If they have 100 people coming to the dealership and they play tug and war, and they close 50 of them or they close 20 of them, it's a numbers game. So they want to get as many people to come inside the dealership as possible so they can play this tug of war with the customer, and the people that they win, they pull hard enough, they win, they get the money out. And the people says, no, I don't want to, I'm not going to take that. They go to another place. But it's just a numbers game. They got to keep the traffic going. They keep the TV commercials, the advertisement. The prices seem good. Everything seems too good to be true. But most of these dealerships have very bad ratings. If you go onto their website and you read their reviews, you're going to see the things that they expose to. But most customers don't take time to really investigate where they're going to buy the car. They're just looking for the best deal. A lot of times the dealerships that post the best prices have the most complaints. So don't always look for the best price online. Look for some of the highest ratings, good customer service. Look for some of the other things that the dealership has to offer besides the price. Any fees that the dealership charges you above the price of the car, 99.9% of those fees are profit. That's how the dealership makes a profit. So say some weird scenario where they sell you the car at a cost price. Say they say, oh, I got $10,000 into this car, I'm losing money, I'm going to sell you this car for $10,000. Every fee that they can add to the car becomes profit. A dealer fee is profit. They have a document prep fee, destination fees. They have all different types of fees that they're going to put on the paperwork fees. A lot of times they mark up the DMV, the title fees. They have an agency fee, a service fee. There's all type of fees that they're going to charge you. If they can charge you another $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 in fees, it may seem like they gave the car away to you, but now they've made their $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 in profit. So you want to be very leery to look at the paperwork and have them explain the fees to you before you negotiate the deal. Say, before I agree to this price, can you go over all the fees with me? And then go to the fees first, then negotiate the price on the car. Because once you've negotiated the price on the car, you feel like you've won the battle and you still have another battle to go over the fees. So that's where you may get worn out and you may say, okay, let's just do the deal. I'm tired, honey, I need to get out of here. Your wife is pulling at you. You may have other things to do. So that's a tactic that they play. They'll give you a great price on the car. And you might say, wow, this is incredible. But then you have to go to the fees and the financing and the insurances and the warranties and the gap and the other things that they're going to be charging you for, which is things where they make their profit. This happened to one of my customers recently. They needed a car. They were at another dealership and they found a car that they like and they asked me to help negotiate the deal with them. I helped negotiate the deal. They took delivery of the car. And then 2 weeks later, they gave the dealership a big deposit. 2 weeks later, they told the customer that they weren't approved. They have to bring the car back. And the customer told them, no, I don't want to bring the car back. You told me I was approved. They said, well, bring the car back. We're going to re-sign paperwork. Don't worry, we'll get you approved. When they came there back, they asked, can I see your car key? They took the car. They took the car around back. The person was without a car. They called the police. The police said it's a civil issue, there's nothing we can do. So the customer lost their down payment, all the money that they put down, and now they had no car. So that's a big scam that they do. If they do that 3-4 times a week, they take $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 down, then they take back the car, they're just getting free down payment. A lot of the times they will spot deliver the car. They won't have it approved for financing. They give you the car, then they go shop banks. If they shop a bank and they don't find the approval or the money that the bank is giving them, they say, okay, you need more money. So they'll call the customer and say, well, look, the bank says we need more money. So then they go back to you and says, can you bring another $2,000 down? You say, I don't have $2,000. Now that you don't have $2,000, they tell you to go ahead and bring the car back. It's a common scam that's been used throughout dealerships for years. One of the things that the dealers do is that they will buy a car that has been in a lot of accidents, but it's not reported on the history. So when you walk into the dealership, you say, I only want to see the car with one owner, no accident. So they pull out the Carfax and they show you that the car has been in no accident. So you as a consumer think that the car is in great condition. Those cars, they're able to buy them at drastically low prices because they have been in accidents. A car that's been in an accident is going to sell for a lot less than when a car has been in an accident. Most of the people, it's a high percentage of people get involved in accidents, they don't call the police because they don't want the insurance to go up. So a lot of the cars that's been on the road these days have accidents that's not reported on the Carfax, that's not reported by the police. So these cars are going through the system, and you may think these cars are not involved in accident, but these cars have been in damage. They've been involved in crashes, front-end collision, rear-end collision, some of them involved in airbag collision. But the insurance company was never involved, the police was never involved. Dealerships are preying on customers now with these vehicles, selling them at very aggressive prices that look very good when they're able to buy these cars at big discounts through wholesale channels, through auctions, through trade-ins, and they're able to charge the customer a higher amount for these cars because of the history. And the customer has thinking that the car has not been in an accident, and they have been in an accident. So be very careful when you're going to the dealership to purchase a car. Take somebody that has experience with you. Ask them if you could take the car to your mechanic or to a body shop where they can put it on a lift and they can check it out. Don't go based on what that Carfax says or what that dealership says. The Carfax is a very commercial piece of paper, and it says they're programmed to let you see the Carfax, but just because you see the Carfax, it doesn't always match up with what the car history